Hello everyone, the Pixel Hero here, and this is the commentary track for Geometry Dash Deathwish Level 2 Anxiety. Now, this level, fun fact, was planned way in advance. Like long time ago. This is probably the, if any level got like an early vision in my head, it was this level. Now fun fact, this cut, the song cut in this level was made years ago. I believe like 2 or 3 years ago. I found it on the old computer, back when I used to make song cuts a while back. I was like, yeah, I should make this into something. And so, yeah, that's what I did. I made the song cut into a level. So you know, it's cool to have like old things be turned into something new, and I really do think this one might be the most popular level. I did really do a lot with this level. This one probably took the longest in development just because of how much is in it. Now, there are some concepts in this level that were thought of from other things, and that were taken from other things as well. And I will talk about that deeper into the video. But I want to get into a fun fact. The whole gradient effect that happens in the very beginning of the level with the blocks, that was 100% unintentional. It happened on accident. I was messing with the gradient trigger for the back. It was only for the background. But I was messing with the set with. Oh, sorry. I got a bit of a lisp going on right now. I don't know why. I was messing with the options for the gradient trigger, and one of the options was like to change the layer, I believe, and I set it to like a little bit above. It was just like maybe layer 4, maybe. And it just completely changed the blocks. And I was like, wow, wait, this like looks 10 times better. If you're following me on Twitter, then you know that this was highly unintentional, but I think it really does pop out, and that makes the level look like 10 times better. One of the parts I do love is how when you hit like a spider orb, it goes through like the whole like hue change, which has to be one of my favorite parts. Of the level. And one of my favorite effects happens in the level. It was one of the coolest. Okay, so next up, I don't think a lot of people know this, but the layout for this level changed. In the original, the first concept, you were going to go backwards on the first. You're gonna go backwards on the first spider orb, and well, you didn't really have enough space for it, so I kind of scrapped that idea. You don't really go backwards on a lot of these levels. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But I don't know, it ruins the sync and it makes the level harder to make in the earlier versions right now. So, you know, it is harder to make some of the levels, which is why I don't use it a lot. But yeah, that's just me. So that's why you don't see a lot of going backwards. It's mostly just the traditional going forwards with the obvious camera movements and stuff. But yeah, the whole theme for this level, talking about the theme, was a forest theme, because I wanted to base it off I want to say music video, quote unquote music video. It's not really a music video. It's the video that's used in MDK's original Anxiety video, which is like a wizard and a knight, I believe, in a forest. Like at night, it's something like that. But I wanted to go like along that line because I thought that would be a cool theme to base it on. And also I kind of want to do like a menacing, like the monsters. I don't know what they're called, the spike balls, I believe that's what they're called. I guess it's just, I don't think that's a placeholder name. It might be. It might not be. But I think that's what they're called, spike balls. They were kind of the main point that I wanted to make, like the main like antagonist, I'd say, put in quotes. But yeah, that's why you see them so much in the level. I wanted to show like a lot of them and them being like hiding in the forest and stuff. That was kind of the idea. And the fact that they mess with you throughout the level. So like you'll see them like very like trying to hide from you in the beginning of the level. Which is like very like, I guess, what's the word? It's continuous throughout the level until you get up to the swing copter part. So you'll see them like if you look very closely. Sometimes it's very quick, but if you look very closely, you will see them like peek out from behind blocks and then go behind them when you get near them. They don't pop back out, which is like, you know, that's how it is. But you know, so more parts in. So more parts in. You'll see like the monsters and stuff, but especially near the ship. You'll see them like hiding back at the blocks, and especially when you get into the castle part, you'll see them hide behind the blocks. It's kind of hard to do. I don't think they all. I think I could do them under the same rotate trigger. I don't think they were separate. But yeah, for the castle part, I tried using the new blocks, but I have no idea how they're supposed to look. And when I did figure it out, it was already too late. I already had those ones in. So that's why I used the old 2.1 blocks. So yeah. The fireball spider part was actually one of the first concepts I had before building the level. Like whenever I was listening to, like, usually my building process is listening to the music, imagining what's in what part, and hopefully executing it well. And that's what I did for the fireball part. I've never done something like that before. It's a little buggy, and I think it's because the hitboxes of the fireballs are a bit wonky, but it is doable if you time it right. It's this whole Deathwish thing is mostly about timing. For a majority of the time, the levels go with the music. So, you know, if you're listening to the music and you're tapping along to the, you'll like when you tap to like the level, you'll notice there's a pattern, and then like you'll know you'll play it and you'll die. But you will get the pattern when you're like thinking in your head when you're tapping, and then you'll like notice like, oh, there's a pattern to this. So there is a pattern. It is in the rhythm. You just gotta find it. And it's not that hard. It does change a bit, but for the most part, it's there. So yeah, the fireball part was an original concept that was actually made, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. It went so well. And I love that part because I've never done something like that before, but it was able to work, which I'm very happy with. So there's that part, and then there's that tricky part with the two spider orbs and the dash. That one can get some people. I'll admit it did get me. It got me, I'd say, like 5 times, but that's because I clicked too early. Because your speed is fast, you have to click it like relatively on time, so it's kind of hard. But if you time it right, you'll get it. And then the 2 spider orbs with the and then the into the robot, that was fun. If you do miss them, I don't think you skip. I think you just die because of how fast you're going. So you do have to click the spider orbs, which is, you know, you have to click it to the beat, or else you will get punished. That's kind of the whole premise of Geometry Dash in general. So then you get into the robot part. The whole moving platforms, that part was kind of improvised. That was not in the original plans, but I am happy with how it turned out. I think it turned out pretty nice and pretty fun. The path is pretty obvious, but yeah. And then you go into the build-up. I'd say the quote-unquote build-up, which lasts like 2 seconds, which you go through the dash orb and the screen goes black. At that part, you think you're safe, but the chaos begins, and the mischievous little spike balls drop a platform on you last minute, which is why you have to click the orb. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. That was originally supposed to be static, so you were already supposed to see it, but I did want to go with the theme of them causing chaos and wanting to kill you. which I think I did pretty well, because you'll see more of them pop up in the swing copter part. You'll see some drop from the floor or from the sky, and then you'll see a couple of them in a part of the level drop down and try to kill you. So you think you gotta go down and go under it, but you actually gotta go over it, because they will crash down and they will kill you. So that was fun to do. And then the Q part. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. The guys, the spike balls that block your screen. Let me explain my thought process for this. So if you didn't know, there was an event that happened a while back. This was before Anxiety was even built. This was like maybe after Play and before Anxiety. But there was the Funkin' Forward, which is a Friday Night Funkin' kind of direct. And in there was it was a Madness Combat mod, one I'm actually looking forward to. One with I forget what it's called, but it has Hank and it has Tricky in it. And it was a new song that they were teasing that has a it was kind of like a I was on a train and you're playing as Hank and there was Tricky who you're going up against, and they're like a battle. It's a song I'm really looking forward to. I cannot wait for that mod. But there's a part in that trailer where a bunch of Tricky faces pop up to block the screen, and that's kind of what the inspiration was for that. So when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, immediate idea, I have to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I am going to do it no matter what it takes. And let's say that Anxiety is that part is probably the most technical, and Anxiety I would say is probably the most, for the most part, that part is the most technical out of the entire Deathwish. There are some more technical parts, especially in level 3, but level 2, that specific section has the most triggers I've ever used and the most complex I've ever used, and like anything before. That part, it's a little buggy in some parts, like if you don't click the orbs, then they don't disappear after, which is weird. They should do that. I don't know why they don't. But when you press 1, they do. It's weird. I don't exactly know how that works. There's probably like a reasonable explanation, but when I do it, that's how it is. But that's where the concept of it came from, and I'll show it up on the screen if I haven't yet. I'm pretty sure I'll remember to put it on screen. But that's where the inspiration for that part comes from. And there's no secret if you don't press the buttons to get rid of them. There's not even like a reward. It's kind of like an optional thing. It's highly preferred because they do block up your screen, and they don't go away. Even outside of like that section, if you beat it with them blocking you, there isn't a reward and there isn't a punishment. It's just kind of like, it's optional, you know? But yeah. So, you know, you can press the buttons if you want to, or you can just take the challenge, the optional challenge, and just not press them. You won't get rewarded, but you won't get punished for it. But that's where the inspiration for that part comes from, if you are wondering. And that's probably one of my favorite parts of the entire level. And the arrow swing copter, the vertical swing copter, that was hard to decorate. I was kind of improvising with the background there, if you couldn't tell. I don't really normally use those blocks in levels, but I tried my best. But that whole concept of the spike balls breaking pillars and trying to crash into you, that was one of the concepts I had originally before building the level. So, you know, that was already in my head, and I was able to execute it, which is pretty cool. That coin in that section is the hardest, and I'd say getting up is probably the buggiest too, just because of like how the arrow trigger works. Like if you land on a block during swing copter, you will either die or you will just be static, which will ruin the sync. So you kind of have to like avoid touching any of the things until you go back to being horizontal. And then even the little green outline part, that was an original concept too. Original idea. A lot of the stuff was original idea. Like this is the most a level has ever gotten to being close to my original vision, which is super cool. It was super cool to see it getting like, you know, what was in my mind being fully like executed and finished, because a lot of the levels I make, a lot of it isn't thought of in my head. Some parts are, but like a good majority of it isn't. A lot of it's just thought up on the top of my head, and you know what feels good at this moment and what doesn't. So this is the most that you'll see from my mind, and I think that it is the best, especially the transition from the mini cube to falling from the sky and falling down. That's one of my favorite parts as well, especially the animation when you hit the ground, the impact. That's one of my favorite parts. It syncs with the music so well. The coin, I will admit, was kind of improvised. That wasn't the original intention for the coin, but I actually do like how it turned out. It's in a reachable spot, but if you reach for it without going the route, you will die. Meaning that you have to go the route, which I think is good in a way. In my personal opinion, I think it's good because you can't cheat the coin. It makes you think you can cheat the coin, but if you try it, you will get punished. Meaning you have to go the route. But it is seen, you know, you can see it. That's kind of what I wanted to do for most of the coins. Not a lot of them are, especially the first coin in Anxiety. You kind of have to search for it. However, the other ones you can see. That's the only like weird coin. Speaking of that coin, the very first coin in Anxiety, that coin was originally super hard to get, but I had to nerf it. You can probably tell that that part is empty. You can probably tell there's probably a lot more here, and there was. Admittedly, it was supposed to be 10 times harder, but I think it was pretty much impossible with the way the jumps worked. The timing, you'd have to have like precise timing, and that was just too impossible. And Deathwish probably wouldn't have come out as soon as it did, mostly because I hadn't verified that level. But yeah, so that coin is nerfed, admittedly. So sorry to break the news to you. But yeah, that is pretty much the entire commentary for Anxiety. There isn't really much to talk about. All I can really say is that that level is the closest I've ever gotten to executing a level as perfectly in my mind as I wanted it to be, if that makes sense. Like the vision I had in my head was perfectly executed with Anxiety, which I'd give it a 10 out of 10, honestly. And I think personally, it will be probably the most liked level out of all the levels. So yeah, don't know how that's gonna hold up, but because this is recorded before then. So yeah, we will see. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe I would say for more Geometry Dash, but technically this is kind of the last until the actual 2.2. So stay tuned for more stuff, because I do have some other things planned. Some more commentary, quote-unquote commentary videos. Not necessarily like the drama type stuff you see, but more like talking about topics that I like. It's more positive. Let's just say that. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe again, and I hope you're enjoying this event so far, the Pixel Lord Takeover event. Level 3 video comes out tomorrow. Link in the description of both 1, 2, and 3 if you want to play these levels for yourself, because they are available now. And with that, I will see you all in the next video, which is tomorrow, with commentary level 3. Goodbye, everyone.